Abraham said, what did he say? O sovereign Lord, how can I know that I will gain possession of it? Please tell me. I don't. A whole city, a whole land, you are going to give it to me. How? Then the Lord said to him. So the Lord said to Abraham, what did he say? Bring me. Underline the word bring me. A heifer, don't forget, a heifer appeared also when God said to Samuel, listen, Jesus, I don't want to go into that. A goat and a ram. God must be hungry for pepper soup. That is not it. It's a spiritual principle. It's a spiritual thing. And he said, each 3 years specific. Each 3 years old. A careless believer will say 3 years and 1 year is not the same thing. And they will do it, it will work. And he said this, along with a dove and a young pigeon. Specific. That wasn't all, oh, the test of obedience, the sacrifice of obedience. Genesis 22 verse number 1 to 2. Sometime later, Genesis 22 verse 1 to 2. Sometime later, God tested Abraham. He said to him, Abraham. He said, here I am, he replied. He said, then God said, take your son, your holy son, whom you love, Isaac, and go to the region of Moriah. Sacrifice him there as a burnt offering on one of the mountains I will tell you about. I'm the one to tell you, not the one you just decide and go to Mission Road and said, I want to give to beggars. I want to do this. Is that what the Lord told you? Now, I was putting this together as a lot, just this afternoon, please listen to this. This wasn't my discussion today. But the Lord said to me, let the fasting of the people not be in vain. Guide them. And I just imagine that God would tell me now, I should give him my first son. Wow. If I tell him, he will run away. That one is for sure. But I can't just imagine that I'm carrying my only son. Actually, I have a son and a daughter. But I can't sacrifice anyone. I'm just being honest. Yet, look at the sacrifice of obedience of Abraham. Abraham blesses and he picked it from the gutter. He picked it from late coming to church. He picked it from being shackled. Come on. Do you know the pains and the sacrifice that people have made? I went to see the bishop before the crossover service. I went to tell him to pray for me. And I met him, he sat down outside the house. As I went to him, the Lord said, did you see him? I said, yes. This, you are blessed. Thank you, you are blessed. He doesn't have to preach for you to understand. If he preaches the 7 mysteries of this one, of that one, you are even sleeping and all of that. But when he say, you are blessed, you are blessed. Because he has paid the dues. Buhari don't need to tell the GOC, go to so place, make sure you go. He will just say, go and flush out the criminals. Finish. Because he's the president, commander-in-chief of the armed forces of Nigeria. I told my wife, the Lord said to me, I have put him in the place of a commander. Anything he says, I will honor because he has paid the dues. There was a time he was not eating, he was not sleeping. Now, if you see him dressing like a young boy, the guy has paid his dues. Which due have you paid? My wife said, now that I'm a professor, the work will get lesser. Because the higher, the lesser the work. Which due have you paid to go higher? Are you still here? That wasn't all the obedience of Abraham. Hebrews 11 verse number 8. Look at what he said. He said, by faith, Abraham went called to go to a place he will later receive as his inheritance. Take note of that. Obeyed and went. Even though he did not know where he was going. Another obedience of Abraham. Genesis 26 verse number 5. God himself had to acknowledge the obedience of Abraham. He said, because Abraham obeyed me, this is God speaking, and kept my request. Question is, why are many believers not experiencing the fullness of what God has in store for them? That's what the question the Lord asked me. Why are many believers not experiencing the fullness of what God has in store for them? Lift up your 2 hands. Marriages will take place today as a miracle. This year rather. I say marriages are going to take place as a miracle. Those who had closed the chapter and they said it's over with you, they are going to see what will happen in your life and they will join you to celebrate. The reason why some believers are not expressing the fullness of what God has in store for them was given to us by the enemies of the project or the destiny of Nehemiah. Hear what they said in Nehemiah 4 verse number 2. Hear what they said about the vision of Nehemiah. This is Tobiah and Sanballat and Tobiah. He said, what are those feeble Jews doing? Do you know that we all are? That's why we are called sheep. We are not called lions. A sheep is feeble. But the reason why you cannot destroy the sheep is because the sheep has a shepherd. He said, what are those feeble? That's why they laugh at people like us that we are not good enough, we are not educated enough, we can't speak good English. But God is using our bad English. So we are feeble. Grammatically, we are feeble. But if we say we are blessed, you are blessed. Are you still here? Lift up your two hands in the name of Jesus Christ. You may have been feeble, but God will be your strength. What are these feeble Jews doing? They said, will they be able to restore the wall? In other words, will they be able to build the wall? Will they offer sacrifice?